Hey guys, thanks for joining us on another board game night. Tonight we're playing Airfix Battles, the introductory war game from Modiphius Entertainment. With me, I have D.
Hello.
Hey D. Alright, so this is a sort of a self-encompassed war game from Airfix Battles. And we're going to go over it for a little bit. But there's a couple of things to mention about this. You can play this in various ways. The one we're going to play was basically straight out the box, where we use all the tokens and the cards and stuff, and I'll explain that in a minute. But the other way you can play it is you can actually use it as a proper war game, where you replace the tokens with figures and use a battlefield like we do when we play bolt action, that sort of thing. So I think we'll start with a scenario. So we've picked a scenario to show you guys. We're going to be doing Take the Farm, which is in the scenario booklet. So it's scenario 6. It gives us down here, it tells us how many points we get to play with, so it's 20 stars. Don't worry, I'll explain that in a second. You got the briefing, so we each know what we have to do. In this scenario, you've got 2 farmhouses, one over there, one over there. As soon as you control both of those, you immediately win. Or, at the end of turn 5, if someone has 5 victory points, they'll also win. You get 5 victory points just for hold. Actually, it's not.
It's just whoever has the most victory points.
Yeah, at the end of turn 5, and you get 5 victory points for holding a house. Okay, so this is how the sort of points limit works, if you like. I'm going to show you the captain card here to show you. On the card itself, you get a whole deck of cards, and I've got some more behind here where you can literally customize your army the way you want it, and has loads of different types of units. This is the 20 points I've picked. In the top left corner here, it tells you how many stars the unit's worth. So this captain is worth 3 stars, which is victory points, but also army building points. Yeah, it tells you the name and how many figures are in it, the faction it belongs to. This dice here tells you what you need to roll when you're taking a shoot action, a morale action, or whatever type of action. This captain needs a 4+. It's his movement value. And then this here is the crux of the game. So the captain provides you with a play limit of 2 and a hand limit of 4. So what that means is, the way the game works is it's all based around these command cards. So in your turn, you always have 1 for the army, and then the captain provides you with 4 more, and you might have some lieutenants and sergeants and stuff that add more to your hand. And then they'll be like cards like this. So for example, this is Infantry Assault. It's a special order, and you can play this for whatever it says, or you can just play it for a generic order. So you can either just play it as is for a move, or a shoot, or a reinforce, or whatever the scenario might entail. Or as you can see there, it has some abilities you can do. So there's the green ones, as D is showing us here. The red one is if you use a magic term, an instant or an interrupt. So if D is taking a turn and he does something that this card can interrupt, I can then play this and play it on one of my units to interrupt him. Now, for the 20 points that I have here, I'll probably have about 7 cards in hand, and I can play up to 4 of them on a turn. Based on or 5 of them, I can actually have 5. So I've got a hand limit of 4 there, plus 1 there is 5, plus another one there is 6, and then I have 1 for the army is 7, and my play limit is 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can have
1 for the army as well.
Plus 1, yeah. So I have a hand of 7, and I can play up to 6 a turn. And we'll also go with initiative in a minute. But I just want to get through some of the basic rules, so when we're playing the gameplay turn, you can actually understand what's going on, and we'll explain more when the gameplay turn comes along. So I'll have a hand of 7 of these on my turn, taking in turns. So I do one, D will do one, I do one. I can place one of these orders on my units. So for example, I could, make this unit do an infantry assault, or I could just make them move, or something like that. Once the unit has received an order, they can't take another order that turn. So once you go through all your orders and you have no cards left, or you have no units to activate, you can then pass. Once both players pass, the round ends. And then we go clean up and go through the next round. So to start with, the first thing we've got to do is we draw up a hand of cards. So as I said, D will give it a quick shuffle quickly. And then I'll draw 7. Are you drawing, how many are you drawing?
I get 8, I think. 5, 6 for the army, 7, 8.
8. I'll go with my army quickly. I've got a captain who's joined a veteran squad. He's brought with him 10 infantrymen and a 57mm gun. He's also got 10 paratroopers who have a sergeant joined to them. I have another first lieutenant who has a 10-man infantry squad, and another first lieutenant who has a 10-man infantry squad, but he also has an MG section with him with 4 men with 2 Browning MGs. So these guys here are my reserves, and these guys here will be the starting force. Over here is my deployment zone, and this will be D's deployment zone over here. And then obviously there's some bits and pieces we need to go through. So let's have a quick look at that. So first of all, this is my hand of cards. Wow, that's interesting. So what I'll do is I'll have a look through them, and then I'll choose, if I want to, we're going to roll for initiative. It's just a D6 straight roll. So for example, let's say I rolled a 3 and D rolled a 1, then I would have run initiative. But before you roll, you can ditch some of these combat cards in your hand, or command cards, to add to that roll. So you can say, for instance, ditch 2 cards, and I would have had a 5 then instead.
But you have to do that before the roll, though.
Yeah, because initiative could be important. Once initiative is done, we then play command cards, starting with the person who had initiative. And you play one, opponent plays one, and so on until you pass. And once both players are passed, it's the end of the round. So, one last couple of things. We have a couple of terrain pieces we're going to put down, and then we're going to deploy, and we'll start the game. And then once we're done into a couple of turns, so the action is starting to heat up, we'll put the camera back on and show you how the turn flows. Anything to add?
Maybe just to quickly say the actions face down, the different things that you can do. You can either do a move based at your move value. You can shoot based at the range of your weapons on the cards. So you've got a little target symbol, that's how many squares a unit can fire. Was there a third action? Was it just
reinforce?
Reinforce, which is to bring something on from reserve. So that's what those face down actions do.
Okay.
But yeah.
Alright, so we'll get started, and we'll explain more as we're going with the more finicky nuances of the rules. Alright, we're back in a bit. So I just wanted to show you quickly the deployment and a couple of the terrain pieces we've added. As you can see over there and down there and there and there is where we added the edge terrain. That's basically, it's called edge, but it's basically hedges.
It's on the edge of a square, I suppose, is the reason why they call it that.
Which provides obviously cover and stuff like that. And then, as I said in the beginning, we have to deploy half our army. So we've deployed, those are the 10-star points I've deployed. And these are the 8-star I have in reserve, or in this case, another 10-star. And same, D's done the same.
I've got 12 points to start on the table, including a Panzer.
Yep, that's right there in the middle on the road. And then he's got, what's this on the far right here?
That's my Major with his Panzer Shrek team.
Okay, and then we've got a Panzer.
We've got a unit Panzer, a unit of Grenadiers, and a Pack 40 gun.
Now, obviously...
Sorry, those two are swapped around. Like, that's the Pack 40 gun, that's the Major with their Panzer Shrek team.
Now, the one thing we've got to remember, even though these are the tokens we're representing, and I'm going to come closer, that you can see, like, this guy here is just a bog standard rifleman, whereas this one's kind of like a sniper or something. In this situation that we're the way we're playing, this doesn't represent any, it's just a soldier. So, for example, this squad here says 10 men with 2 bazookas. It doesn't matter that maybe the squad has 4 bazookas or whatever, because the information is on the card. When you're playing at the actual level where you're using infantry models, I think it'll probably make more difference then. Also, just to notice the units, this is unit number 1, so it corresponds to unit number 1. And what I've got deployed here, that's my captain with his veterans, that's the lieutenant with his infantry squad. This is a 57mm anti-tank gun, and then this is another infantry squad. These are 5s, so there's 10 men there. There we go. So there's an overview shot of our deployment. I've got the initiative this round, I think. Oh no, we haven't done that yet. We haven't done it. It's just D starts with a valid token, wherever that is. That is because he lost the deployment roll. He starts with a valid token. The valid token is allowed, he can spend that to re-roll some dice. But the way he spends that, he gives it to me. And then I have the valid token. Right, so we're going to get started. We'll come back to you in a turn or two. Alright, so we've had a turn. It's getting pretty heated already, so we thought we'd film the next turn.
Yeah, it's tense, isn't it?
Unless there might not be another turn. So what happened on the first turn was, I moved up onto the hedges over here. Move this unit up to the building, because remember, once you control both objectives, you win the game immediately. I got my anti-tank looking down the road, but I had quite a lot of interrupt cards on my turn, so I used most of them to use the interrupt abilities, which meant I passed earlier than D.
But one thing he did made a massive impact as well.
Yeah, so I used one of my reserves to bring my paratroopers in over there. D brought in some reserves over there, which is the MG40 team. He's moved up his Panzerschrecks over here, and he's used this unit to run up into the building. So he's got control of this objective. If he gets the other one, it's game over. He also brought in his half-track with his grenadiers, I think, in there.
The Panzer Grenadiers.
And then on the last action of the turn, he moved his tank like this. So I foolishly have not brought a toad for this thing, so he can literally just sit there. So he covers the road, and that's it. So this is what it looks like on the board. Yeah, I've got these 2 units still in reserve. These still got a unit in reserve. The guys with a stack there.
No, these are in play as well.
What about those there? Oh, they're inside
They're onside the vehicle.
So you got everything in play already?
Everything's effectively in play, yeah.
Okay. So the first thing you do on the turn, I've got 1 card left from last turn. Dee's got a couple more.
3.
So the first thing we do is refill our hand. So you need 5, don't you?
I need 5 more.
There you go. I need 6 more. 3, 4, 5, 6. So have a quick look at your hand, and then we can decide. Dee's still got the valid token, so he's got to decide first if he wants to sacrifice any cards to add to the initiative.
I think I am.
Oh man, I got some sweet cards.
Yeah. I think I'm going to add 1 card to my roll.
Really?
Because that card's rubbish.
Alright, so you're adding 1, yeah? Oh man, I really want to use... I think I'm going to add 2. So I'm going to add those 2. So now we roll for initiative. So it's a D6 plus 1 for D plus 2 for me. What you got? What you got? What you got?
Got a solid 2.
2. Good job. I've got
3.
3. Yeah. So I've got initiative. So I get the first action. And I'm going to play a sweeping advance.
Oh dear.
So there's the action over there. I have to choose one of my units to play it on. I think I'm going to play it on the paratroopers. So 2 infantry units may fire, then move with +1 movement. So I'm playing it on my paratroopers, and I'm going to designate the second unit as... I think this 10-man infantry squad here with the lieutenant. So basically those 2 there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fire. So my paratroopers, there's one of them took a casualty last turn, so there's 9 paratroopers left, plus the sergeant. So I got 10 dice, just pass me those.
Could have been 4 more casualties, but he saved them
with
some special cards last turn.
And as you can see, the paratroopers say they need a 4+ to hit. And they're firing with SMGs, which means every one guy gets a shot against infantry, small arms fire, and when they can reroll once for each miss when firing in adjacent squares.
Ouch.
So I'm going to fire these guys in the building, and they are adjacent, so I get to reroll my misses. But because they're in a building, and I'm just going to show you this. Oh, in fact, you can see it over there. That little symbol there represents a cover, so they have a save. So they get a save of whatever their roll is, which I believe is a 5+ for them.
Correct.
So let's go. Oh Jesus!
Lucky you get to reroll it.
Yeah. So I got 1, 2, 3 hits and 7 misses. So I'm going to re-roll those 7 misses.
Yeah.
So that's much better.
So just 2 missed out of those.
Yep. So I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits.
Wow.
Now 8 hits is an immediate panic test for the unit once he's finished his saves, because normally you don't get saves. So he's going to have to take a morale test anyway. But he has saved 2 of the guys.
2, 4, 6 guys of Come down. So that's 5, 6.
Alright, so it's a panic test for getting 3 hits and a panic test for taking like 50% casualties or whatever. So you got to take 2 panic tests.
So you once again, the success roll on the card is what you use it for. So
is there an officer in the unit?
Yes.
I say because there's an officer in the unit, you can use the officer's morale roll.
It's exactly the same.
Oh, right, great.
So 5s.
Nope. So they become pinned, and then the second one, they become retreated. So when you pinned, you just basically hunker down and you can't take any actions until you rally. When you retreat, and I didn't actually show them. The cards actually have them. So when you turn sideways, you're pinned. When you retreat, you're upside down. So when you retreat, you have to move 2 spaces backwards.
What's considered backwards?
That's true. Because I'm right next to you as opposed to in front of you. So I can have a quick look on there.
I assume backwards would be towards my
towards
starting area.
That seems feasible to me. And then that unit can then move with +1 movement, so they will take the building.
But what I will do, I will interrupt and fire with the MG section. So 1 unit may fire during an enemy move. This fire must target the enemy unit that moved.
Okay.
So let's have so from this unit here, so I've got a range of 5, so clearly within range. Each MG fires 4 shots. There's 2 MGs in the unit, so 8 shots coming at you.
6, 7, 8.
They hit on 5s normally, but they have crack shot, which is +1 to all rolls when firing ranged weapons. They're in 4s.
Okay.
So that's 4.
So that's 50%.
So that's one morale check for the hits.
Yep. But now, because he's shooting, I'm behind the hedge here. He's shooting basically, I've got cover. So the paratroopers have 4+ cover saves. 2 die.
So that's a second. So 2 morale checks for them as well.
That's no problem. No problem. I'll flip them over to show. So let's have the morale. First one, 4+. They pinned.
Pinned.
And retreating. Well, when I said I was no problem, I meant there's no problem for D.
Get out of here, you scamps.
Wow, that's interesting. Where do they go? Do they just
think
stop there?
They'll go that way.
Because they can't land on their own unit.
Yeah, I assume so.
So they seem like they're going to go
They will go by that.
there.
And then flip your thing to retreat.
That's right, that's right.
Ah, right. Then me.
Well, no, I've still got my other squad.
Oh, yeah. And I can't move anywhere. Oh, no, you can move through.
Yeah, you can move through, but they can't shoot anything.
They can't see anything, can they?
No, so they'll just do a move. I forgot to move their tokens up with him. So they're going to go 1. Oh, I can't actually reach the objective. So they'll just go over there, behind the wall. So this was still activating my sweeping advance, which was 2 infantry units may fire, then move. That's me done.
Alright, on to me.
Well, at least I cleared you out of the objective.
For the time being.
I didn't want any sneaky situations where you just jump into this one while you're in that one and win. Because I can imagine this Jeep in the corner here just running up the ride and popping them out because they get a free move, don't they?
They might do.
See? I got know what you're up to, man.
Right, I think we're going to do a rolling thunder.
Is that the tank?
So, 2 vehicle units may move once each and then fire once each.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
Fortunately, I have 2 vehicles, so... Right, we'll start with the tank, I think. No, I won't start with tank. We'll start with the half-track. So, half-track, he has a movement value of 4.
Is that 5? Did you say you get +1 movement? Oh, it's +1 shoot,
no.
isn't it?
No plus is just 2
Oh,
things
right.
can move and shoot. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And they will then take a shot at this unit it's just found. And it has a MG34, so 4 shots. Needing 5+.
2 dead.
2 dead.
I'm in the open here, so I don't get any saves, so it's just...
So that's 2 hits and then 2 wounds, so 2 morale checks then.
So, they are basic infantry, so 5+. That's fine.
First count.
And then they're pinned.
Nice.
What number was it? 3. I don't freaking... There we go.
So that was that unit. Right, second unit. So now I'm going to move this guy. So with vehicles, it costs 1 point of movement to turn 90 degrees. So that's 1 movement point.
And he can obviously just drive over the hedge because
2 movement
he's a
points.
tank.
So it's going to stay there, and it's now going to fire on... Oh, that's interesting. Because these guys, I get to shoot them in the side, won't I?
But that doesn't really
Could there be no
for
cover?
infantry. Yeah, it doesn't. There's no flank for infantry. It's
Yeah,
just,
but I was saying, yeah, for the side, because
Yeah.
it means that you're not behind cover because you won't get your save that way.
Oh yeah. Oh,
But actually, you'll get a save because it's your commander, and he's got a hero ability.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm gonna shoot at. But these guys haven't acted yet, have they?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna shoot command squad then. So of course, like all German tanks, they have an MG34. So another 4
Hitler's
shots.
Buzzsaw.
Oh yes. So this one's on 5s as well. Oh, so
There's a
close.
1.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just. So I've got a choice here because I've got the Valor token.
Oh yes.
I could spend it to be able to re-roll
1 or all the dice.
1 or all of, so I can re-roll everything. I think I'm just going to stick with the 1.
Really? I thought for sure you were going to go.
When it's on 5+ here, if it's a 4+, then I think I might have changed my mind. But if it's a 4+, I won't need to. Cool. So I'm just going to leave it. So it's just 1 hit on these guys.
Right.
So they don't normally get a save, but it's your captain, so he's got the hero ability.
Right.
So he always gets a 4+ save.
Which didn't help him.
And he did not.
Or one of the dudes.
The hapless guys. Okay, so that's both the vehicles done.
Feeling the pressure.
As the armour rolls up.
Right. What can I do? What can I do? I do have grenades, so that could be interesting. Okay, I'm going to play Superb Teamwork on my officer. So have a look at the card. So move 1 infantry unit up to 1 movement space, then fire with that unit, then move it up to 2 spaces, but it may not assault. Alright, what's the range of it shooting? 3. I won't get to shoot anything that I can see, which is really annoying.
Because I'm hiding behind all these buildings.
Yeah.
And your small army coming up on my flank.
So, these guys, I'm going to jump the hedge to there. And then I could shoot with them now, but I suppose I could have a shot at the tank. I've got grenades.
But the grenades are only range 1 though, aren't they?
Oh yeah, that's true. So, there's nothing really I can shoot at.
Can't see anything, can I?
So then I get to move another 2 spaces, which means I will
Jump into there.
objective. And that's me done.
Right. I think that forces my hand a little bit because I've got to stop that unit jumping in there, haven't I?
Well, they are pinned, so I need to rally them first.
Yeah, I don't think I could take that risk.
And there's no officer nearby. This is my hand. There are 3 cards left.
Right, so let's...
Well, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but like, for example, units that have received an order, even if, like, for example, I played this on the paratroopers, but I activated these guys as well, they cannot receive another order that turn unless it's an interrupt order. So you can receive multiple interrupt orders, but you can't receive special orders.
I'm going to do a lightning strike on the Panzer Grenadiers. So 1 unit may move with +2 movement and then fire once.
Are they the guys in the truck?
So they're in the truck. So when you're in a truck, you can disembark as your whole entire movement to an adjacent space. So jump out into here. And then
I love the fact that they just dived out of the truck
into
through the window. Yeah.
All commando rolling in. Cool. So their official ability as well as Panzer Grenadier, they also gain a free movement action after dismounting from a transport. So if I wanted to, I could now get a free movement out of here as well. Which I suppose I can do after I've done the fire once. So I'm going to fire now. So I've got 10 guys there, all with assault rifles. Grab these dice from Jason as he steals them all. Okay, so they've got assault rifles, so they can re-roll once for each miss when firing at an adjacent square.
Uh-oh.
And they're on 4+. So
Uh-oh.
These.
I don't know if you need to. What is 8 guys left? And that's
2, 4, 6, 8.
8. Wow. I think this
Yes.
unit might be
Truly wiped out.
so they're all gone. Now, even though we're playing for the farmhouses, which is if you control both, you win automatically. We're still playing to a turn limit of 5, and at the end of the turn 5, the person with the most victory points wins. When you wipe out a unit, you score there. So D has just scored 2 points for wiping out this infantry squad. I'll just give him the card so that he can keep that as a trophy.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to use my free movement. I'm going to stick where I am in that building. Okay, so that's me.
Oh, I wish you didn't, like, if you didn't do that, I would have won.
Well, absolutely, because all you would have had to do is, I'll move into there and win.
I had a rally order.
Ah!
You sucker. I'm going to bring in a reserve. I'm going to bring in my MG section.
Oh dear.
And actually, maybe I should fire the...
Yeah, the AT gun can actually see something.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to fire the A gun, I think. Where the hell is it? On my thing. Oh, there it is. So, there's a range of 5, defensive shield, anti-tank 3. Actually, it doesn't really...
Doesn't have a HE round, so it's not good against infantry.
No, I'll bring in the duties.
In all fairness, as much as I don't want to tell you this, you can see the half track.
I know, but the half track is not really
It's a half track.
Yeah, it's
It's done its job.
if there's a chance later on, I'll shoot it. But for now, I need to stop you from controlling that objective.
Yeah, put some pressure on me, I think.
Right, that's me.
Okay. What are we going to do now?
By the way, I did the reinforce action, which is use one of my action cards just to play it down, and brought in the MG section, which I've brought in over there. But once you bring the reinforcement in, they can't do anything other than just come
These
into.
guys are still retreating, aren't they?
Who are those? The paratroopers? Yes.
Yeah. And these guys are fine.
Yeah, they're this squad.
Oh man, that is tempting. Right, I think I'm going to do something absolutely terrifying to you.
To me?
Yeah. Right, the MG section.
Okay.
They're
Haven't they
gonna-
received an order this turn?
No, they did the reaction.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to lose Stay Frosty. So one unit may fire with +1 on each of their rolls of rolling to hit, and they get +1 when rolling to fire with range attack. So I'm going to fire 8 shots at 2s, 3s to hit.
Ooh.
4, 6, 7. So now choose, do I try to really ruin this unit, or do I try to get this?
I don't think you'll be able to shoot the one in the house because you can't shoot diagonally.
Ah, true. Cool.
But while you're doing that, I'm going to play my rally card to rally the paratroopers.
Okay.
So just automatically rally the unit to A-OK.
Okie doke. Well, 3's up. Whoa, I think I'm going to use...
Before you, look at that. Was that one hit?
That would be 1 hit on 3s. I think that's the perfect time to use this valor token
Yes.
to re-roll that.
You can only reroll 1, yeah?
No, you can roll all of them.
So the valor token comes to me.
Wow.
Come on, another roll like that would be sweet. Not that much better.
No, so it's still only 3.
Alright, I got saves though.
Yeah, 3 saves of
4+. Oh no, 5+. I think for them. They're the infantry units.
3 dead.
Yep, 3 dead. Bam, bam, bam. So that's a couple of morale checks for them.
Yeah, not as good as I'd hoped.
So they are morale 5, which they failed and
They're
failed.
retreating.
But they can move through the unit.
They go to here, don't they?
Stupid Yanks.
Okay, had the desired effect, I assume.
Alright, so back to me. I got 1 card left. I haven't used my gun, and I haven't used my infantry squad in reserve. You know what? Screw it. I am going to fire the gun. Might just see. I don't know why I'm putting it down there. So it's going to fire at the this thing.
Yeah.
The half track. So it is anti-tank 3.
3 dice.
And it needs a 5+. There's 1 hit.
1 hit.
So now how many? What's?
So it has armor because it's only got an armor of 1.
Oh, so it's dead.
So basically, if you hit it, it's dead.
Yeah, I've got it penetrated. Anything but a 1, I think. Yeah, that's dead. Penetration works. Like, put your tank card. It's only with 1 point.
Yeah, man.
Sucks.
It's only a little transport.
Put your tank card over quickly. This dice value also represents the armor, I think. If that's no, armor is down yet. Armor is 4+. So every time it gets hit and takes a penetration wound, the armor reduces down, and that basically means it's easier to kill. So for instance, if it takes 2 wounds, then it only has an armor of 2+, and so on. Whereas this piece of crap only had an armor of 1, so I only needed to penetrate it once and blew up. I say piece of crap, it's still freaking pain in the arse.
Did its job.
Yeah.
Glass cannon. Right. Me, is it?
My anti-tank gun did something.
I think I'm going to use my anti-tank gun now. So I can see this building here.
You must capture the building, not blow it up.
No, I'm going to blow it up. Interesting.
You still got 3 cards left as well. So this is where the interesting part comes in. When you ditch cards like I did in the beginning to gain initiative, it means you have less, obviously, cards to play. But you only have a certain amount of cards you can play anyway. And I have 7 cards, but I can play up to 6. So ditching, I always will have 1 left unless I ditch it.
Right, so the pack 40 is...
How many cards can you play?
I can play 6, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6,
yeah.
yeah.
I've 1, 2, 3, 4, and I've played 1 instance, so I can still play 1 more card.
Well, you can count. You start with 8, and you basically you should have 2 cards left when you play.
Cool, so I'm going to use artillery unit, may fire with 1 extra AT dice. So I'm going to go up to 84. Needing 5+. That's 2 hits.
Okay.
So that's 1
Does it say no saves underneath?
Nope.
Right, so morale saves of 4+. So 1 dead.
You've got 1 morale check for the being hit.
That's right. 4+. He's saved. Easy.
Okay.
I passed because I got no cards left.
So I can play 1 more. It's very interesting. I've got a unit right next to you. And I think I'm going to have to do that. Another Stay Frosty from the Major and his Panzerschreck team. So they're going to add +1 to their rolls to hit. So the Panzerschreck team has got 2 men. I'm going to use different colour dice for the Major as he hits on a better result. So normally it's 4s and 3s, but now it's 3s and 2s. And I can reroll misses when you're in an adjacent square. So 3s and 2s rerolling misses. 3 hits.
Okay. So I got 3 4+ saves. That's 1 dead.
And then another morale.
Bam. 4+. Say.
Ah, just fail.
Obviously, I've passed, so back to you again. You got.
So that's my last action card I can play. So that's
the end of the round. So now the last phase of the game is you clear off any of the used cards that get ditched. Any in-play things that were affecting the turn would get discarded, and that's the end of the round. So there you go. Have a look at the battlefield as it is. The Germans are in control of objective this farmhouse. I'm in control of this objective, but only just. And I've got a unit running away over there. So this next turn, which is turn 3, is going to be pretty crazy. So we'll see you in a bit at the end of the game. Alright, so the game has ended. And it's ended on turn 3. So that's why we filmed the second turn, because the game is brutal. What happened before we got to the ending? I won initiative, even though I spent 2 cards and D spent 4.
Yeah, I took a big gamble and I was like, I need to get first turn.
But he rolled a 2 and I rolled a 4, I think.
4.
So it was 6 all, which means you ditch the cards and then re-roll again without any modifiers. And I won the roll. I activated an open up, which was my paratroopers. I moved them up to the side of there. And then I wanted to take out this squad that's in the building, which was sitting over there. He played a move thing that got them out of the way.
Yeah, got
so
them out of reach.
So I couldn't see them anymore. So I killed the MG team over there, which got me 2 points. So I was up to 3 points. And I thought, oh, this could work. Yeah, so long as D doesn't take out my officer and his friend in this building, on my next turn I can actually take out these guys, and I would have been in a supreme position. But unfortunately, he then played an assault order to assault the building with my 2 guys. My defensive fire failed, and I tried to do...
Use the Valor to re-roll it as well.
Yeah, and I tried to do a fire. But he counter-intelligenced that by denying me. I then used my defensive fire, failed, used my Valor token to try and re-roll, failed again, and then he came in and killed me.
Yes!
Which means, because then he's got both objectives, and I failed to do anything to this unit. So he immediately wins. Well done. And that, even if we'd gone 2 more turns, he's just by killing their captain and stuff, put him up to 6 points.
6 victory points for kills at the moment.
And I'm on 3. But if I had taken out this guy, that would have been 5 points just for him.
6.
Or 6.
It's 5 literally for the 1 man, and then 1 point for the Panzerschreck team.
So there you go. That is a full game of Airfix Battles from Modiphius Entertainment. Now, as I said, we're literally just playing the bare bones game out of the box with the scenarios and stuff that it comes from. It has some expansions, and obviously you can play it as a proper war game with scenery and miniatures and that sort of thing. And maybe in the future we'll do a game like that with this, using these command cards and stuff on my other channel, my Battle Knights channel. But for this one, we're just going to look at this. What did you think?
Yeah, I quite enjoyed the game.
Have you played Memoir 44?
No, I haven't.
You haven't played Heroes of Normandy either, have you?
No.
Because this is a very similar sort of game to those.
I have played the Battle of Westeros, so the type of movement and doing things like that. So I had a little bit of an understanding of it. Yeah, I thought the game was good. I thought it was really, really simple. There's quite a few tactics that you have to take into place with it as well, because you've got potentially a limited number of cards and actions to your units. You have to use the right ones at the right time. Cover's quite important because there's no saves unless you're in cover. So if you're standing in the open, you're just asking to be shot.
Which I was.
You were asking and I delivered. So yeah, I thought it's really quite cool for what you get in the starter box. Nice variant where the fact that you, like we said, as figure gamers, we can take these cards out and you can use Bolt Action, Flames of War, any of the other World War companies, and basically just put those onto a battlefield and do the game on a potential larger scale, with some nicer models rather than these little flimsy little chits. Things I thought could be improved is that some of these cards were super swingy in terms of.
We actually found you tell him about the card that.
Yeah, we did this scenario because this is the first time I played the game today. So we've done a couple of games before just to get used to the rules, and there was a situation where basically we could both win on turn 1,
with this card.
Pretty simple. You've got this guy here allows 1 unit to move 3 times his normal move. Everything generally has a movement of 2. So you would set up there, and you would go
run
1,
to the
2,
furthest
3,
objective,
4, 5, and you're in there.
and then you just need one other movement.
And then, unless somebody else has another unit near there, they can't physically make it. And then next turn, you just go, well, I'll shift you on into there, or even with the cards which allow you to move once in reaction to it. So, so the opponent could physically lose the game without having any involvement whatsoever. Whether it's just this particular mission which caused that, just because it's you win immediately as soon as you control both objectives. If it was a case of you have to finish the turn holding them, then I think that'd be a bit fairer.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it means that people can't do exactly that, which is entirely possible. But yeah, like I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the points building thing as well. It was a bit difficult at some points. But yeah, I enjoyed it. In terms of rating out of 10, I think I'd give it probably about I'd give it a 7, I think.
All right, cool. Yeah, 7 is a decent score.
Yeah, I think I think it's a good game.
Yeah,
I don't have many problems with it.
There's some choices to be made, you know, with what tactics you use. I mean, there was a couple of times during the turn, especially the turn we weren't filming, where it was just like crippled with indecision because there's so many options. Because the map is so small as well in this situation. Because we're still just talking about what you get in this introductory box, where the maps are quite tight and everything is within range of killing each other pretty quickly. So there's a lot of decisions to be made, and I think it's interesting. And like Dee was saying, it's interesting how you build your army as well. It's not just take whatever you want. Your officers dictate what you can take
and what you have to have with it as well.
So there's a lot of options to building. There's a lot of variation in the units. There's a lot of decisions to be made, and the scenery we were talking about, like in the first game, I can't remember exactly how it was, but I think somewhere like I had scenery like this, I think it was.
Yeah, I think I had like one
down there, yeah,
over near the beginning,
and that changed that game completely because there was a lot more easier to maneuver through, where it formed like a deadlock,
and just the vision side of things, because these I can't remember, edge rows, they block line of sight unless you're next to it as well.
Yeah.
So in this scenario, it's a case of you can move around, but where Jason had it from here and I had that, it basically means that this column here, we can't see each other until I'm over there or
top
he's
of each
there.
other, which created a completely different atmosphere.
It's a case of how quickly do I move up to the cover, because that means I can now be shot, even though yes you get a save, but it's a case of do I stay in the safety behind there and not be shot, but then it's inviting pressure for someone to try and jump on the objective.
I think for maybe a couple of negative points for myself, which is just minor negative things, because you're using these counters, the board can get quite cluttered quite quickly. I mean, there's always shit everywhere, knocking them over. And also the cards, like Dee was saying, are quite swingy. So depending what you draw, I mean, you can use any card for any of the basic actions, which is cool. Yeah. But some of the cards are obviously better in situations than other. I mean, excluding that card already.
And also the fact that we both draw from the same deck, so like the counter-intelligence card, which cancels one of the other interrupts. The last game we played, I had both of them in hand. I'm sure there's probably only 2 in the deck. Yeah. So I keep those. I just keep holding them for the rest of the game, and then you can't cancel anything that I have.
And I had both the ones that save my paratroopers.
Yeah, both things which save paratroopers. So like some things are just seem a lot better than others. But I'm not really sure how you can counteract that unless you then had your own individual decks. You had an Axis deck and an Ally deck where you then both have access to those same sort of cards maybe.
There's some in the back of the rulebook. It has some other options and stuff that are available. You can say battle bonus pack, map packs and force decks, and you get a collector's edition. And obviously Airfix do their own figures as well, which you can, if you're so inclined to do. That's the one thing I haven't tried yet, is the actual option of playing this as a battle game. Now that brings up a conundrum for me, because I'm a massive fan of bolt action from Warlord games. I love bolt action. And this game...
Yeah, if we were going to play a mass battle, we'd play bolt action.
Yeah, exactly. So this... I mean, I like this is obviously different to bolt action, where it has these command cards and the way the orders and stuff work, which is cool, and it provides you a little variety. And I love the fact that you can do that, because I've only played it on the map based like this, because I feel like if I'm going to play a miniature version of World War II, I want to play bolt action. But I'm still going to try this as a miniature game, just to give it a fair shake of what it's like. But that does bring that conundrum to me: is why would I want to play this if I already got bolt action? So got to keep that in mind. And then of course, if you have Memoir 44 or Heroes of Normandy and those type of games, is it worth having this in your collection when you already have those? I'm not sure, because obviously
I think it's quite niche in its own way, because basically, if you are wanting to buy a game which is purely just this sort of thing, then yes, maybe you'd go for your Memoir 44s. If you were looking for a World War game, which is a figure-based game, you'd go for something like Bolt Action or Flames of War. Well, if you're looking for a bit of versatility, where you can potentially do different variants, and also, I don't know the price, but I'm sure this is a lot cheaper than starting Bolt Action, and probably cheaper than buying Memoir 44 box. This is a nice, easy introduction alternative to basically get you into that sort of game.
And it gives you enough variety in the box to play and have a good fun. I mean, I've played this game quite a few times now, and there's still loads of stuff that I haven't gone through. I mean, there's a load of scenarios in the scenario book. You can download more, make more. It comes with another map, so you can combine the maps to make bigger games. Obviously, it doesn't have a lot of these. In this scenario, we used pretty much every token available to us and even we were using some of these as 5s, which I don't think that's what they're for.
It doesn't actually say anywhere what they're supposed to be for.
So,
I assume they're supposed to be, because I've got things like, I have mortar teams, and there's mortars there, and then there's I assume these are the MG40
Brownings, and I've got a mortar as well.
Yeah, I assume that's what they're actually for, but
anyway, that's our general thoughts on Airfix Battles. D's rated a 7. I think I'd give it a 7 as well. I think it's pretty solid. It's fun to play. There's some nice challenging scenarios, and the cards give you a lot of variety with the force lists and stuff like that. So, yeah, have a look. If you're at Dragon Meet at the end of this year, Modiphius runs Dragon Meet, so they'll have this on display there, so you can try it out. They might even be at the expo, so go have a look, see what you think. Thanks for playing, man.
It's alright, man. It's always nice to win.
See you guys later.
Bye.